Hi everybody, welcome back to Love Good Kitchen, or welcome if it's your first time with us. Today we are going to be making a dessert that is so easy, I'm not even sure that it can be considered a recipe, but be that as it may. It's called Pineapple Cherry Crisp. I did get it on the back of an Aldi brand Baker's Corner cake mix box. Actually, this box of cake mix has the same recipe listed on the back. But we've tried it before and it is very simple to prepare, but it is really delicious. So the first thing that you'll want to do is preheat your oven to 350 degrees. I have that going now. You need a 13 by 9 baking pan. I'm going to be using this glass Pyrex pan, and you'll want to grease it. You could spray it with nonstick spray. I'm going to use some shortening, so let me grab that. As you know, that's usually what I use to grease my pans, and very rarely do I ever have a problem with things sticking. So that's what I like to do. So just get this spread out in the pan, getting all the corners and the sides. What's the point in going through the effort of making a recipe, preparing something, and then you can't get it out of the pan? Okay, that'll do it. Put the lid back on there. Some over here. The next thing that we're going to do is take a 20-ounce can of crushed pineapple. This one is Sweet Harvest, which I think is the Aldi brand, but it doesn't matter what brand, you can use whatever you like. You can open the can. Now we are going to put this in the pan with the liquid, with the juice that comes with it. We're not going to drain it because that pineapple juice liquid is going to be part of the recipe that we need to bake up this dessert. Just use a spoon here. Put that over there, and you just kind of spread it out, because obviously you don't want it to be in one giant clump. You want it to be evenly spread at the bottom of this pan. That looks about good. There. Okay. Next thing we want to do is take a 21-ounce can of cherry pie filling. I'm going to open that, and I'm going to put that on top, right on top of the crushed pineapple. I'm not going to be too finicky with how I put this on top, although this one I'm not going to just dump in one spot because I just spread out the pineapple, so I don't want to get that too messed around, although we don't have to be ultra precise with this one. So I'm just using the spoon to kind of dollop it in. I'm not sure that dollop can be used as a verb, but we just did, and I think you know what I mean, so. Okay. It's looking good. waste any of our cherry goo here. Okay. Next up, we have a box of yellow cake mix. I'm using Baker's Corner, which again is the Aldi brand, but you can use any brand that you like. Cake mixes have gone through an evolution over the last few years. They are now, what are they? 15.25 ounces. They used to be 18 ounces, and I think they've been somewhere in between along the timeline. It does make a difference in some recipes. Luckily for this recipe, it hasn't made a huge difference. So I'm actually going to use some scissors to open this. So that I make less of a mess. But what we're going to do is take this dry yellow cake mix and we're going to sprinkle it evenly over the top. Towards the end, I'm going to use my hands a little more so that I can get the edges without spraying it all over my kitchen. You just want to make it even. So that you don't have a lot of the, I guess maybe I don't need to use my hands. That went pretty well. It's my lucky day. I can use my hands to spread it out a little on top. How about that? You don't want any of the cherry or pineapple to be showing. You want to make that even. So I'm just kind of gently patting and spreading it out. Again, this is barely even a recipe. It does not take a lot of skill or otherwise. Wipe off my hands. Here. Okay, next up, you need 1 stick of butter, and you do not want this to be soft. At least not if you're going to use the method I'm using. You want to do bits of butter, tiny chunks or cubes of butter, or I'm going to do as thin slices of pats of butter as I can slice. If you're slicing, that's why you want it cold, so that you can better do that. If you're doing little tiny bits or chunks, you could do it with softened butter. I think I'm going to use this knife. Let's get the scissors out of there. But that is 8 tablespoons, half a cup, or 1 stick of butter that we're going to do that with. Okay, that about does it. I've got our butter sliced into little thin pats, and the reason why I like to do the thin pats sounds funny, is because you want to lay them on top of the cake mix, and you want to cover as much surface area as possible. And so I find that that's a little easier to do if you do these slices, but you can do the bits or the chunks or the cubes or whatever floats your boat. You you do kind of have to be careful slicing the butter. So if that is a consideration for you, not to lose a finger in a project like that, then don't do slices, right? Okay, that's looking pretty good. Put some over there. Got a few left. Hands. And then last but not least, we're going to sprinkle some nuts on top. If you don't like nuts, or if you're allergic or what have you, you can just leave the nuts out. However, we love nuts. We are not allergic. And so I'm going to be using some chopped pecans. You could use walnuts. You could do it with almonds. You could use whatever you wanted. But I happen to have some already open. We'll see how far this bag goes that I already have open. And you sprinkle them on the top. I think we could use some more. So I'm going to open this other bag we've got. And add some more. I don't think we need an entire solid layer of pecans, but that was looking a little sparse, so we're going to add some. As usual, don't worry about trying to write this down, although it is pretty simple. I will have the recipe and instructions listed down below in the description box for you. That's looking good. So now all you have to do is place that into your preheated oven to 350 degrees, and we're going to let that bake. The box, the recipe says to bake it for about an hour. I'm going to start checking it around 45 minutes just because I usually start checking a little before what the recipe calls for, because I hate having things overdone. So I'm going to pop this in the oven, and I'll bring you back so we can check it out when it's done. Hello, we're back. So my hunch was correct, and our pineapple cherry crisp was in the oven for about 45 minutes, and it's done, bubbly. It was good to go. So I took it out. It has been cooling here for just a few minutes so that hopefully I can do a little taste test with you and I won't burn my tongue off. But here we go. I'll blow on it too, just in case. Yummy. So, great texture because it's sort of smooth and we'll say creamy on the bottom, and then with the nuts on top, give it a little crunch. You can taste the cherries and the pineapple. Excellent. Give this a try. You saw how easy it was. Doesn't get much easier than that to do a quick dessert. It's delicious. Other than the pecans, not too expensive either, although you wouldn't even have to use those if you didn't want to. So yeah, give this a try. Give us a thumbs up, like this video if you enjoyed chatting and putting this together with me. Subscribe if you haven't already. It's free to subscribe, and that way you'll be notified when Love Good Kitchen posts a new video, and it also helps out my channel, so you can help me out at the same time. Leave me a comment down below if you have something to say, or if you have a question or something to share about this recipe. Also, I think one time in the past I have tried to switch it up, and instead of the cherries I used, I want to say it was peach pie filling, and I used walnuts on top instead of pecans. And I think I swapped out the crushed pineapple as well. Or did I leave that? I'll have to think more about that. But you could switch up the flavors to do different variations of this dessert, and I would think that it would be yummy as well. So anyway, have a great day. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.